Kenny had to make up a noise.
Well, it's non-carbonated. It has no pop top, or it's water actually.
You can get carbonated water though. Why didn't you do that?
They got carbonated water now?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's never been done.
Never been done. We just saw a movie.
We sure did. Welcome everyone to the Talkies.
We did.
This week we went to the cinema.
Let me say, we covered, what was it? It was The Equalizer, Day of Dark Again.
What? Day of Dark Again?
Yeah.
For this twice. Because it's The Equalizer 2, so it's Day of Dark Again.
Guys, you're confusing our audience. We did not see The Equalizer.
My point is that there's several sequels out right now.
All right, let's start this way. D did something. He just totally went over our heads and did something.
Executive decision.
Did not take a vote. Decided that he would put a poll out to let you, the fans, decide which movie we'd see.
Big mistake. No, sorry.
Huge.
The choices on that list were Equalizer 2, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again,
2,
and
Unfriended
2,
The Dark Web.
Which we're discussing today. It's funny that that's the one you couldn't remember, and that's the one we're about
That's
to
the
talk
one
about.
we just saw.
Yeah.
So we ended up seeing two of the movies. The two movies that were voted the most was Mamma Mia and Unfriended. We saw Unfriended today. We'll cover Mamma Mia in the next episode. So
Mamma Mia is going to be aired first.
we just covered Mamma Mia. And
reverse
and
that.
that other
Reverse
one.
it.
Yeah. Okay.
Strike that, reverse it.
So, but for today, we are talking about Unfriended, the sequel. This is the sequel to Unfriended. This is Unfriended, the Dark Web, from Blumhouse and executive producer Jason Blum.
Yep.
And this movie sucked.
Absolutely. I have not seen the first one.
What are you talking about? Wait. Small horror movie from that's a sequel from Blumhouse, and it sucked.
It's
so bad.
It was bad.
This was a terrible movie.
I honestly think this is the worst movie we've seen together.
No, Winchester by far. No, because I didn't laugh at all at Winchester. I laughed throughout this movie.
You laughed at this movie.
Yeah.
But that's still some semblance of enjoyment.
Exactly.
That's the difference.
Winchester had...
No, I fell asleep in Winchester.
There were craftsmen who worked hard to make some beautiful things.
Which is what makes me so sad.
On Winchester.
Because it was terrible.
And I can appreciate that. You know, like, hey, that one little set they made, that was cool.
Maybe.
There was nothing cool about this movie.
I don't know.
Nothing.
Maybe because the set was so... The story on that movie was about the set.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's not a good movie. I'm not defending it whatsoever. I just dislike this one more than...
Far more?
I don't know. I disliked Bright a lot, too.
Yeah.
I really
forgot about
disliked Bright.
Why'd you have to bring up Bright?
What made this movie so bad?
Unbearable.
Okay, so I'll raise 2 points, and then I think you have a counter argument to one of them.
Sure. You're a little far from your microphone there. A little far from your microphone there.
I'm afraid that it might be hacked by the inner circle of the dark web.
Oh,
trying to make it hard for
this
them
part
to hear.
right here is glitchy.
Yeah, well, they may... We could be dead any minute.
Wait.
They can do anything. They're hackers.
I want to bring up that
hackers are all powerful.
That we called this movie Unfriended. That's not how it works.
Yes. Oh my gosh, there were so many things where it's like, and like, I mean, D knows his way around computers quite well.
Sure.
But I'm no one. I don't have any special computer knowledge. I'm just sort of an average user.
He's a Mac user.
And a Mac user, which most of this was on Mac stuff. And half of the things that happened on the screens in this movie, I'm like, that doesn't work that way.
Right.
You know? He logged out of the Facebook application to log into his own account, and then he kept getting messages from the other account that he's logged out of, which doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, and plus when he was on Skype, there was a moment where, because we're all from his point of view, this main character.
Yes,
it's his account.
His stolen laptop.
Yeah.
is the observer of the whole movie.
Yeah, and so it's his account, his Skype account that he's logged into. And if anybody's ever used Skype, they know that when you hang up on a Skype call, you leave the call. But
you can't see the call anymore.
Yeah, you're hung up. But there's a moment where he leaves the Skype call, but we just stay in the Skype call. It's like that doesn't.
There's too many moments like that.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. It's like
and they gave this hacking group so much power and ability that it made us all feel like there has to be a reveal in here that they are supernatural.
Which would have been way cooler.
Which actually would have been way better.
Yeah.
Like, they're a ghost, they're aliens, they are a comic book type character.
Yeah.
Something like that. Because they were just too good at pulling off everything they wanted to do. They had no weaknesses at all.
And that's what was so funny about it was, like, when they did stuff like the Facebook message thing, like, the thing popped up in black.
In black.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it went, instead of doo-doo, it went doo-doo.
Yeah.
It's because they had to find a way to... And a lot of that stuff is because of the limitations they put on themselves by making a movie this way.
Right.
We're like, okay, we need a way to make it so that the audience can tell the difference between a message from the hacker and the message from the girlfriend. Well, let's turn the hacker's message black.
Right.
And that would make sense in this universe because bad guys like to highlight their text in black
and be very theatrical.
Yeah.
These hackers are very theatrical.
They are.
But to the original question, my reasons as to why I think this movie failed so terribly is because, one, there is simply not enough character development. And this method of having everything take place on a screen where everyone's located in different places on Skypes and existing in these tiny little windows, I really felt like just wasn't intimate enough to let us get to know people or care about them. And the consequence of that was that we didn't care at all what happened to these people. They weren't interesting characters. We saw more of their flaws than their qualities.
Yeah.
And in the end, I felt nothing when the dude was buried alive. I kind of felt like, well, he's probably getting what he deserves here.
He's a dummy.
He brought this on himself.
I would
don't steal a laptop.
I would kind of disagree about the whole intimacy thing because I think the one character that we connected with most was the one that we saw the least. And that was Amaya.
But I think that's only because she actually had the most. She had the most unique character traits.
Yeah.
They had to reveal more about her to make her story make sense.
Yeah.
So getting into the fact that she signs and that it's a frustration to her to not be able to really communicate with her boyfriend.
Right, but that drove the engagement. So I'm saying that it's not necessarily the fault of being full screen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would agree with you, D. And I think I don't think it's inherently like, what was the word, distant or it's not used. It can be intimate. I think it is actually naturally intimate, but that might be because I've had like relationships like that where like we all just hang out on Skype, so I have direct relatability with that, and I think it is an intimate thing where you're seeing these people's personal, spaces that what they're doing when they're hanging out with each other in a relatively intimate environment, even though it's a screen. And then I think where it goes wrong is the writing.
Maybe.
These character interactions aren't that.
They tried really hard to develop each character.
Yeah. But they really
especially the guy AJ, who is into who's the sort of conspiracy theorist guy.
Had 7 million subscribers.
Did he really?
Wow, I didn't catch that.
7 million subscribers.
On YouTube?
On YouTube.
Why didn't he just...
Why is he living with mom?
I don't know.
He should be making some money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously.
They just didn't... It was just a little detail. There's like...
He's in the top 1% of YouTubers.
Like, why does nobody acknowledge or care that he's a massive YouTube star?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then.
That's funny. I didn't pick up on that. I feel like the reason I feel slightly contrary to what you guys are saying is because they did try to develop the characters.
Yeah.
With the girlfriend couple, they gave us a lot. And AJ, they gave us a lot.
Yeah.
And yet, I just could not connect
and it's
with
because
these people.
There's no emotion there. And I think you do have a point with cinematography in that being part of it because you need an emotional through point to each of the characters. And you can't do that when you just switch from one to the other.
Well, it's not just that, too. How vulnerable do you get when you're doing game night with your friends at the same time, right? So it's like they're weaving in these nuggets about who the people are, but at the same time, we're watching them in their Skype game night mode. So like actually accessing that person on an emotional level, it's going to be pretty superficial.
Right.
Until later on when, you know, things get crazy and they start freaking out.
Yeah, and I hate it when movies do that. And it's mostly low budget horror that always does it. Is they talk about just whatever characters in the situation, what would real people do in the situation, and like they were doing, they're all playing the game realistically and they're being funny and stuff like that. And then instead of telling the personal qualities of the person through just their personality, it's like they have to go into a moment where something really bad happened to them and they have to go and explain everything. Like, oh yeah, my mom stage 4 cancer and she's still in the hospital. Like, you're just saying this to the audience.
Yeah, because these close friends had no idea.
Yeah,
like it just said, "Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah,
I'm so sorry."
Like,
or when it's like, "How is your mom doing?" Right? So we're actively acknowledging we all know about your mom, and then she gives this full explanation, which it's just obnoxious to the audience.
Yeah. I think it would be really cool. So, like, with a movie like this, where it's all computer screen stuff, you obviously can't use cinematography like it's traditionally used to convey emotions. You have to rely on your characters pretty much entirely, actually. And so that's one thing that this movie misses. And also, I think it would be better if it was, like, 100% realistic. Like, none of this mysterious black text that vanish.
And all this tech that, I mean, it was like the bad guys could do whatever they want because they're hackers, and hackers have skills that none of us understand.
Right.
Yeah.
So it might as well be magic.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is just dumb. It's like it would be It would be more scary if it was treated like as if
you were getting hacked.
Stuff that's familiar, and not like
to be
I've
fair,
never
the
seen
scariest bad
like
guy.
that.
The scariest bad guy was the dude who we thought was the main bad guy when he became unmasked.
Right.
And because now he had vulnerability, he was afraid that he was going to be killed, which means now he's more...
he's more grounded.
Not only that, he's more desperate.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, he's completely... You can't anticipate what he's going to do now because his life's in danger.
Yeah, and it turned out he's just another character, and that the real bad guys were the other people.
Yeah,
the other Sharon.
We just didn't need the whole twist at the end.
Yeah,
didn't need that. This whole like, oh, it was all a game. The whole thing was a setup.
The twist is dumb.
It's dumb.
You played right into their hands.
It doesn't really reveal anything.
They anticipated every decision this whole group of complex individuals would make. Because they're hackers. They're smart. They're super smart.
What's the point of that twist? Like, what does that provides you the information of knowing that you didn't know something? That's basically all it says. It's like, you didn't know this was actually going on.
Well, it supports, or it gives context. It gives what's the word? It redefines the context that you thought it was.
Yeah.
Right. But in so doing, it should also make all of that context make sense now.
Right.
Right.
I mean, this way it did opposite.
Yeah. It answers all the questions that needed answering, but in a way you didn't see coming.
Right.
Otherwise, it's more like a Deus Ex Machina kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just
just because
make up some thing.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just like, oh, that would be cool. Why don't the ending's not that cool? Why don't we just? What if it was just all like they were betting on it? Right. Yeah. All right. That would just be the last shot.
There's so many things that happened in the movie that there's just no. I can't understand why they would make these decisions if this whole thing's fake.
Yeah.
Right. If this whole thing is all plotted out and planned, what is the purpose of him making that money transfer? It's not like they needed him to make the money transfer. It doesn't incriminate him anymore.
Right.
All it did was it helped tell that story of, oh, now the inner circle is on to them because he made that money transfer and they're going to come and kill us all now. What have you done? Which was just a smokescreen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, if they planted the laptop and if they wanted this guy to get it, then there was no need for...
You don't even need that other character at all. The first henchman, dude.
Right.
You didn't even need him. Like, why was...
Like that would make that would mean that he was acting, right, while he was like freaked out.
The whole thing. Yeah.
But if he was acting, that means that he thought that the kid was going to transfer the money. But then it didn't make sense because it didn't matter if he transferred the money or not because they were all aware.
What would make a film like this, where it's based on the technology that we all use every day, what would make a film like that the most terrifying is that when it ends, you could look at it and just say, I could see this happening to me.
Right.
This could happen to us.
So like
you know? And that you don't get that feeling at all from this
Not
movie.
at all.
It's
No.
complete fantasy garbage.
Yeah. Taylor and I were talking about, like, we were betting whether or not they were going to make actual references to the outside, to like actual deep web, and we're talking about onion links, and Tor browsers, and they didn't have any of that.
Like I said, I predicted that they were going to have their own like thing, and it was the river.
Right.
They made their own.
And they had to make it. I mean, they had to make it so that the audience could grasp what all this means without having to explain everything.
Yeah.
Well,
so there actually being a graphic that shows the message being sent from Tokyo to Russia to Sweden. Like, I'm like, they don't do that.
Yeah. And part of what makes like the deep web
background moving?
or the deep web or the dark web kind of scary is the fact that it looks so regular. You know?
It's unwieldy.
Yeah, it's like this super, super dark stuff is going on, but it just looks like Reddit almost.
Right.
Yeah,
like one of the scariest things I thought was really crazy when I had first experienced deep web was like following. First of all, you have this really cryptic looking link, the onion links, because they're so weird looking. Yeah, like you don't have www dot, it's just this massive characters, and so you put that into the address bar, and then you go somewhere mysterious, and then you have just like pink background, blue text, and it's like, hire an assassin here, and you're like, what the fuck? like it's that up front, and that's
unassuming.
And that's what's scary about it, is that it's like this kind of world can exist,
but making it a boat with a torch going down a dark cave.
Yeah, they were like, they probably
so
were like, let's make all this authentic, and then they went on the dark web and they were like, this isn't very cinematic, guys. Maybe it should be like,
they didn't even have the dark web in there. All they did was they used the Tor browser, or their browser, which was a routing thing, and that was it. And all they did after that was an IR chat or something.
Yeah.
Actually, it was more about just encrypted files that were on the hard drive.
Right. Yeah, the local stuff.
The dark web wasn't even a character in this.
Not really. Yeah.
Because they realized it was not interesting for movies.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Some producers saw that and were like, we can't do this. It should be like floating down a subterranean river lit by torches in the dark. And that's what evil looks like.
Which I could have gone with a little bit had they stuck to one aesthetic. Because what they did was they're like, oh, is this their program? The river is like, I guess, their program to meet up or whatever. And it's styled like Minecraft. And you're like, oh, that's interesting. And then it switches to like high res,
super high bandwidth video streaming. I'm like, dude, this is for a place where you want to like inconspicuously meet up, get in and get out.
Yeah,
they just made this like browser that you'll have to spend 2 hours like installing.
It's like a 50 gigabyte file,
just so you can float down this CGI river.
It's like, why is this file so big? Oh, it's just all these graphics that we put in there. It's like, why? We're very theatrical.
Yeah, we're very theatrical.
Well, I mean, do you just want to meet on like Craigslist? No,
it's like,
we want like a dark underground river lit by torches.
This is the deep web, after all. And also, it's like, it was just kind of dumb character decisions throughout. But the one that was really bothered me was when I can't remember the main guy's name, whatever his name is.
And that's a huge problem.
Yeah.
When you don't remember the main character's name, because you don't care about him at all. He just comes across like a total douche.
I was just trying to figure out. I don't know his name.
No. I don't remember it.
Matthias.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Matthias.
Yeah.
Matthias.
They called him Matthias, and I thought that was weird because we have a friend named
We have a friend named Matthias.
Yeah. That is kind of weird.
But he is completely unforgettable.
Even having like a friend named after the main character wasn't enough for me to remember the main character's name.
Yeah.
He makes this decision to. He thinks once he realizes that he has the wrong laptop and he shouldn't have stole it. He's like, okay, I'm gonna go return it to this guy. And then he's like, okay, meet me at the cafe. And they're like, all right, well, I'm going to the cafe. We're going to meet at the cafe. It's no problem. Give me the laptop. You shouldn't have done that. You're a jerk, whatever. But I'll just take the laptop. No big deal. And then it's all good. Then he's just sitting there. He's on the laptop, and he stops. He's about to shut it down. Then he's like, huh. And he just thinks to himself for a second. And then he goes and transfers all the money over.
No, he does that afterwards.
No, what he does then is he just starts looking around at stuff.
Yeah,
he starts wasting time.
He snoops on the guy's Facebook page, who, after all these hot girls are talking, did they even explain that?
No. Explain the I'm so horny messages? No.
I think it was like
Was that supposed to be bait, basically?
Yeah.
Okay, so the other bait then was the Sharon one saying, hey, I'm ready to make the money. I make money transfer.
Yeah.
And that's where he says, okay, I think I'll keep this.
Yeah.
As if he can
So
keep
like
this
he's going to
money.
make $10 million himself or something, but then he transfers it, like, why? Like, he transfers it, and then he's like, oh, it's for insurance because he has my girlfriend. But why?
Yeah,
you have a laptop
is, if he
already.
had just brought the laptop to the guy, it would have been over.
Yeah.
It just would have been over.
And he makes a very big leap. It's a very big leap for me to believe that he would have made the decision to transfer that money, which set into motion the whole movie.
Well, and so that's the problem with most horror movies.
Didn't really.
Yeah.
Right? Most horror movies always have this really, really, really weak motivation, and that's why people are saying, are you kidding me? You did not just try to go in there. Don't go in there. And it's because people in horror movies have to be dumb in order to set these motions,
Yeah.
That's why Hereditary was so good.
Yeah.
Let's talk
like
about
that.
Hereditary instead. That's a good movie.
Yeah. That ending.
Hereditary?
Yeah.
That movie.
That whole movie.
So great.
So good. There wasn't a single moment in this movie that was good.
Pretty much. The only reason I would say that
actually the graphics were pretty good.
That it's better than
pretty good graphics.
the making fake computer screens and pop-up windows.
Apple's design for making their OS is good.
I like his unhidden folder was red.
Ooh, yeah.
And it was titled Untitled in all caps.
Oh, I noticed one thing in the trailer. When his Skype gets hacked by a big group of people, all of their profile images were red.
Yeah.
And in this movie, they weren't.
They weren't,
yeah. I'm glad they didn't.
I don't see why. It would have been the same, just like all the other stuff. Like the IM that they had going on the river.
Yeah.
Boom. Boom.
Oh my
So that's
gosh.
the one sole piece of enjoyment that I received from this movie was laughing at it. Basically, there were moments where it was just like funny, like almost so funny to where it was like I actually can't believe that this wasn't unintentionally funny.
Well, and I feel like that with some movies like this, and it makes you kind of think like. It makes you think that they can't be actually going for scares, right? Like these things aren't. These are definitely not scary. Like, from a human perspective, these are not scary.
Maybe dogs. Maybe
maybe hamsters.
Not humans.
Maybe birds.
Yeah.
Not humans.
Yeah.
And no, I definitely was doing the same thing, questioning whether or not. You guys, are you trying to make like a Sharknado type thing? Because this is hilarious.
Right, yeah. Because Sharknado was intentional.
Right.
Intentionally bad or whatever.
Or like Rubber.
Rubber, yeah, which is definitely
like a horror
movie.
hilarious thing.
Yeah. So I guess I'm not sure.
So I think they were going for terror and suspense. I think they really were.
It was it was laughable. It was literally laughable.
Even if some of it was intentionally supposed to be bad on purpose, the movie is still bad.
Right.
Like overall, when it comes down to it,
well,
it's
I think
still
because
not
you're
good.
still missing the big piece that you need, and that's empathy.
Right.
We talk about this with almost every film we cover. Is that ultimately what will make your film sink or swim is how much we care about the characters in it.
That's exactly it.
And all I got from our main character, the quote-unquote hero of the story, is that he's a crappy boyfriend
right.
who makes one bad mistake after another.
Yeah.
And steals.
It's like your girlfriend tells you, I want you to learn sign language. And he's like, I'll go invent an app that does it for me so I don't have to do that. That's a bad message to your girlfriend. You're a bad boyfriend.
Yeah, and make the app one way.
It's one-sided.
Yeah.
He makes an app so that she can understand him.
Yeah. And it's like a profound moment for him when she's like, she tells him that, and he's like, good.
I really, really disliked this whole thing that he can't text her because she finds it annoying or something like that. That really pissed me off. I was like, he's like trying to talk to her, like even when it's like really, really high dangerous situations, and he's like yelling at her. He's like, read my lips, but you have to get out of there now. Get out now. And it's like a minute of him trying to say get out now, and she's like, nah,
yeah, just
write it.
Get out now.
Just write it. Just type it.
I felt like they were setting up an idea that could have had a really cool payoff, and they ended up touching on it just a little, but not using it as well as they should have. And that's this whole idea that that they had this ability to communicate through sign language, albeit not very well.
Yeah.
Because they very well could have got to a point where the hackers could hear what they're saying and read what they're typing. But if
hackers don't know sign language.
But if they didn't know sign language, then maybe they could have gotten away with something, But they didn't use that either. I just thought, that's obviously what they're setting up.
When I first saw that, Amaya is a girl who's deaf, I was like, oh, okay, well, they're utilizing that for something else in the movie.
And they didn't really.
They kind of did.
Barely. Yeah. It just felt like. It felt like she could have been any old girlfriend.
Right. That was the problem with it, right? And what was funny was like at the very end, they really did try to make it seem as if this was like a profound thing, because like he's buried alive and he's texting stuff, and they keep changing it back to, I wish I could sign better. Yeah. And it's like you're thinking in your mind, I know what they're thinking is like, oh, we're gonna make the audience have this profound, oh man, if only he was a better boyfriend, he wouldn't be in this situation. But none of his motivations had to do with him being a boyfriend. All of his motivations had to do with stupid, because he stole a laptop because his other one sucked, and he didn't put it back because he could make money. It had nothing to do with Amaya.
Yeah.
He's just a bad human.
And a bad movie.
I thought it was funny how, because he upsets his girlfriend for a chunk of the movie where he's trying to like win her back or whatever. And the way he does it is by giving his true feelings or whatever for why he only went to one of the sign language classes that she signed him up for. And it was because he was afraid, because he realized how much he loved her, and he was afraid because he loved her so much. He's never loved anyone so much, and that made him scared.
I thought that was great. I actually liked that part.
I thought it was silly, because then she was like, oh, all right, yeah. But it's like, if you're afraid, it's like, that's
we talk about the
thing,
masterpiece of silliness that was in this?
Yeah.
And that was AJ's death.
That was pretty hilarious.
He got swatted.
Yeah.
He got swatted.
He did.
So these hackers were able in real time to go through all of his videos on YouTube, cut out pieces of different things he said to make dialogue, to make an audio clip where he says he wants to shoot and blow up something, go to the mall with explosives or something like that, and then calls the cops and plays it for the cops. The cops show up armed and ready, and then they play the sound of a gun over his loudspeakers. And my favorite part is that they fire their automatic weapons down the stairs at him, right? They kill him. And for the next, I don't even know how many minutes, his camera is still live on the Skype conversation. And we don't see cops coming down the stairs. Like, he's just laying there.
I thought it cut off pretty soon. Because they killed off the feed of every video.
It got logged off by the hackers.
Yeah.
Well, of course they could do anything.
No, they put /star kill video feed. That makes it work.
What happens if we type that?
The audio clip stringing together also is very obviously faked. So it's like, I know you can't assume that it's fake if you're a cop or whatever.
Yeah.
But if it was like analyzed, it would be obviously faked, because you'd be able to see clips in the audio if you like looked at the waveform.
Yeah.
Assuming it would go that far to be like analyzed in court or something like that.
I mean,
but they just shot him and killed him.
Not only that, like it's the later when they Photoshop the dude's face into that other picture.
Like,
I'm like.
Like that's
every detective knows how to spot a photoshopped image.
Yeah.
And be like,
it's like, come on.
That's true.
They did so many things for the benefit of the audience, of showing the audience, that it was just silly. So cutting up the audio clips to frame the guy, AJ being a great part of that, where they're like, first, I'm going to play you all of the clips that we're going to sample from, so you know where we got it.
Right.
Then I'm going to call the cops and play the clip I've made. So you're just perfectly aware of what I've done here.
But while I'm playing each clip, I'm going to make sure and go backwards and keep playing that one part so you remember that part.
Yes. Yeah. And then like showing the British guy that they're going to Photoshop the guy's face in. It's like, I want you to know how we're going to frame you.
Like this was definitely idea first, script second, Idea, low budget movie that can make a lot of money. That's a sequel to this other one that made a lot of money. I'm sure we can do it for cheap. Let's get a script. Who's got a script?
Yeah, it's like anything. Whatever it is, we'll take it. Deep Web, genius. We'll take it.
They're thinking Deep Web is something that a lot of people have heard about but never really understood.
Yeah.
Put it in movie form, horror movie.
That's actually very kind of smart almost. Like to title it Unfriended Deep Web as a sequel. It's like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense because it's the internet, But then it's like,
it's just a retarded script.
And I didn't expect anything more, to be honest.
No, we didn't.
It's exactly what I thought it would be. I knew it would be this bad from the onset.
No, like I was afraid of other people being bothered by us laughing before we went in. Turned out there was only 5 people total,
not
including
a lot of people.
us.
Peak hours.
Movie Pass.
Movie Pass. That's a different conversation.
Pass. We should have a Movie Pass episode.
Sure.
No.
Well, me and Taylor will.
Yeah, me and Kenny are gonna do a Movie Pass.
Better call it something else other than.
Do you want to say anything else about this movie?
No.
The cinematography was wait.
There was no cinematography.
There wasn't. Yeah.
But there was a director of photography.
The lighting. No.
The lighting was unrealistic and ridiculous.
Oh wait, there was. You know what? That DP was hired for the last shot of the movie because that's the only shot that's an actual shot from a movie.
How did we get there? Because they set these rules that we're watching a screen on the stolen computer, and then zap, we're now...
Because they were watching the stolen computer's screen. Oh, right.
Remote desktop.
Yeah. When they brought in remote desktop, then all the rules are, like, thrown out the window. It's like, no, now they can do anything. Now, like, anyone could be in control of the computer. We can go to any computer we want.
I love that remote desktop had a big watermark across the screen.
Yeah.
It said remote desktop, which isn't a thing either.
I like also when... Oh no, this movie's terrible. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking of so many things that are bad. That's how I talk.
That's the sound of bad movie coming out of D.
I had to do with remote desktop. I don't remember what it was. Oh no, it was the lighting. So what was the blonde girl, the blonde lesbian girl?
Carrie.
That's all you gotta say.
Who?
Carrie.
I'm
making up names.
Sure.
I don't know.
Nori's girlfriend.
Blonde girl.
Nori.
Seaweed's girlfriend.
All right, you're referring to when all the lights went out and then she's amazingly lit from the screen of her laptop, which I guess she carries around after that.
And I didn't know, I had no idea Skype had this functionality of like reaction shots.
Dude,
did you ever know
that drove me crazy because Skype...
It's audio.
Skype will jump camera to camera when someone talks. And there were several times where it jumped to another camera like 30 seconds before the guy said anything.
Yeah,
like
for a reaction shot.
Yeah, did you
okay.
Did you get the new Skype update? They put facial recognition on.
It can recognize your intention.
Yeah. There's dramatic mode.
Yeah.
There's scary mode.
If it sees you raise your eyebrows, it'll go to you.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I like how her lights went off and nothing happened, and then they turned back on. And she didn't acknowledge it.
That was just to scare her.
And then she got killed. After the lights came back on, she got killed.
Remember, she had like all that trauma about having to make a choice about who died.
And she said, "I know, I'll break the system. I'll not make a choice."
And then everyone died.
And then both.
Because that was obvious anyways, that everyone was going to die. It's like...
Actually, it actually did catch me off guard. I was like, why didn't she make a choice? That was dumb.
Well, the choice did seem obvious.
To kill her dying mother?
Kill her mother who has terminal cancer and is about to die.
Who's suffering?
Likely suffering. Who should I kill? The love of your life who you're about to marry, or your suffering mother who will never leave the hospital?
Who has 6 months to live.
Maybe, I guess my mom.
I guess, yeah. I thought she would make that, like at the end, Mom.
I thought it would be like, it should have been an obvious choice to her. She goes, oh, well, my mom. And then they push the girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, psych, we have no honor because we're
And then
hackers,
they kill the mom too.
Because we're hackers.
Did she think like that if I don't make a choice, then they'll both live?
Then they'll go, shoot.
She didn't make a choice. What are we
going to
make
a choice? what do we do now?
I don't know.
My choice is not to choose. And then the whole internet just explodes. That does not compute! It was AI behind it the whole time.
I don't remember.
Sentence is false.
Unfriended, the first one, which the first Unfriended, does it have a supernatural element?
I have no idea. I haven't seen it.
Because I remember the shot in the trailer of the kid putting his arm in a blender.
Oh yeah.
Which looks voluntarily done. So I'm guessing there's a supernatural element to it.
It was a dare.
I don't think there's anything supernatural in that movie.
Hackers made him do it.
Oh, they hacked his arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, it was probably like a thing where it was like, we have your girlfriend, we're going to kill her unless you put your hand in a blender.
Saw.
Oh, and he's like, oh, it's not turned on, and then they hacked the on button.
Yeah, exactly.
Hackers can do anything. It's nothing supernatural about it. They're just geniuses.
They're also all white guys or girl.
Yeah, there was
just
a girl,
one girl
there too. Yeah.
And they have gloves on, purple gloves, and they wear black hoodies.
Purple gloves.
And she was also, there was one shot of her, and she was just kind of antagonizing. Like, she had the gloves on. She's like, I'm an evil hacker.
Theatrical, man.
Boo, hacker here.
Hackers are theatrical, and none of them are fat.
Yeah, we know every hacker is fat.
Yeah, no
By the way, there's not a hacker in this world
who
does not have type 2 diabetes.
That would be actually pretty great if like they cut to all the other people and they're all just like this, like absurdly obese guys.
If you wanted to get rid of hackers, you should cut off the supply of insulin.
Jeez.
You just limit access to insulin, and they'll die.
All right then.
I feel safe making fun of hackers on this program because
we're gonna get hacked.
We're gonna get hacked now. They're gonna hack our show.
Bring it. See if you can get past our firewall. Ooh, that's a thing, right? Firewalls.
They're gonna start.
Do we have one of those? Is it made out of fire? Do I need insurance?
It is fire.
Sounds dangerous.
That's literally fire.
You need insurance
to have a firewall.
Yeah.
What kind of pizza is this movie?
Oh.
One you will never want to eat.
What kind of pizza is this movie? This movie is like, it's pizza dough, no sauce, no cheese, no toppings. It's just the dough, and the dough is like stretched out like as far as possible. and it just kind of rips, and then you take the two pieces that rip and you try to form them together, but it's really frustrating because you can't get it back together, like they won't meld together, and then you just can't make a pizza out of it. It's ruined dough. That's
awesome
this movie is.
Well, to me, it's, your friend says, hey, you want to come over for pizza? And you're like, sure. And you come over, And then instead of taking you to the kitchen, he takes you to like the back alley behind his house. And he's like, the pizza's down there. And you look on the ground, and there's this pizza box that's been run over by a car like 25 times. And you open it up, and it's just like just a mess. It's all been smashed and is moldy and dirty. And I'm like, that's not pizza. And he's like, yeah, that's pizza. It is pizza, though. No, it's not. I do not want to eat that. I don't care. I mean, you could claim it's pizza, but I won't be eating that. That was this movie.
This movie was a friend who said, let's come over. You want to come over and make our own pizzas? And you're like, oh, yeah, sure. So you come over, and he's like, oh, I already got the bread baking already. And you're like, that's not how you're supposed to make pizza. He's like, no, it's fine. And then he forgets about it. And then later on, he says, "Oh, actually, I don't have any toppings either." And he opens the oven, and it's just black. It's just a big black burnt circle of what once was bread. And then you go and you try to eat it, and you're like, "Oh, that was this movie."
Oh my god!
That's pretty bad. We weren't around to do pizza. We weren't doing pizza analogies when we did Winchester. And I'm just wondering what those would have been. Yeah. The only other movie that we have close to this one. In our badness,
horribleness,
yeah, Winchester. Yeah,
kind of like your friend says, "Come on over for pizza," and then when you come over for pizza, he locks the door behind you and sets you on fire.
Wow. This movie was a pizza that you get and you open it and it's like this fresh pepperoni pizza and you're like, ooh, and you go to grab it, but then the slice like digitizes and glitches and you're just like, oh no, and you try to eat it but it disappears,
and then someone comes up behind you and strangles you.
Yeah, someone hacked the pizza.
Oh
yeah.
You know what, this movie was actually a text message of
it was the pizza
a pizza gif.
Eggplant, water, and then pizza emoji. That's what this one.
Is that what I think it means? Oh.
It means wet eggplant pizza.
Yeah.
That's what it means.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, exactly.
Who would want eggplant on their pizza?
It's a bad movie.
Just bad.
Let's just put it this way. It's a bad movie.
Imagine pizza that's bad. It's like that.
Exactly.
So
can I say another moment I really laughed in this movie? It was like the first like disturbing video he finds is in like this. They're in this warehouse and a guy like puts a can of food on the ground.
Yeah.
And there's a woman who's chained up who decides to sprint at top speed to try to get that can of food, only to be yanked like she didn't even know she was chained. And the chain yanks her arm and she falls on the ground.
She's like, oh yeah.
Wait. It's not intriguing whatsoever.
Kind of done.
Okay,
yeah,
that's
I don't
fine.
think I can handle it. Like,
I really kind of want this to end.
I don't want to spend any
I just
more
want to
time.
die.
Yeah, it's like
really, I was wishing I did not go for water today.
Instead, if you went for like bleach.
Yeah, something like just a bottle of dissolved Tide Pods.
Today we're drinking bleach on the show.
It's that bad.
All right.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you need like a hard whiskey to get you through a bad movie, and then there's a whole nother level of movies where you just want to drink poison.
You just want to die.
Eat a lump of poison.
Eat a lump of poison.
Eat lump of poison. Lick road clean.
All right. Okay. Well, as always, thank you for watching. We're sorry to put you through that, and we're even more sorry that you saw Unfriended, the Dark Web, because that was a terrible movie.
No, you most likely saw this before you saw Dark Web. You shouldn't see this movie.
If you saw this first, then don't go see it.
Yeah, literally don't. Yeah. Just don't.
Oh gosh, why? As always, be sure to catch our short film roundups.
Thursdays.
Comes on every Thursday, and
Except
you can
for this
submit
time.
your own short films to us, so we can cover it just like this.
That's
we
right.
can give you the Unfriended Dark Web treatment.
Imagine this, but it's your movie.
Imagine we did all this to you and the artwork that you're passionate about. We could do that.
Unless it's good.
Submit it on Reddit, and we do get a lot of good movies.
Yeah.
Submit it on Reddit at r/CarmenLine Studios.
Yeah. Reddit. Am I right?
You are right, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. And until next time, I'm Kenny.
I'm D.
I'm Taylor.
And we'll see you on the dark web.
D just drank. What?
Why didn't you? You didn't click your drink with us. Why didn't you do that?